When going from 30 to 15% body fat, there's a few key things you need to do. No, it's not carnivore, intermittent fasting, doing cardio until you pass out. It all starts with having a clear plan, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step process you need to go from 30% to 15% body fat. And at the end, I'm going to walk you through two of the main reasons most people are unsuccessful. If this is your first time here, my name is Adam Scott Murad. I'm a certified and registered performance nutritionist, personal trainer, and online coach. Step number one is all about getting clear on your goal. Most people know more or less what to do: get in the calorie deficit, do some form of exercise to burn more calories, and maintain that for long enough. But it's not about just knowing what to do, it's how to do it for you. So in my experience, it's the lack of clarity, the lack of direction, knowing what you should do now and what to focus on. If you don't have clarity around this, it's very difficult to stay motivated and commit to the process. So you're currently at 30% body fat with some extra fat around your hips and your belly, and you're aiming for a lean 15% body fat with some muscle definition and maybe even some visible abs. As you know, this is going to be a journey and it's going to take some time, but let me give you the blueprint. Step number two is your starting point. Let's say you're 220 pounds and you're around 30% body fat. You have around 66 pounds of fat and around 154 pounds of lean muscle. Around, like I said. So getting to 15% body fat means you need to lose around 44 pounds of fat. So your goal weight should be around 176 pounds. Remember, weight isn't everything, but it's quite easy to track. And a healthy rate of weight loss is around 1 to 2 pounds a week. So before I continue, it's important to understand that most body fat calculations are estimates and most people underestimate. So I would say that if you think you're 25% body fat right now, you may well be 30, and it's better to overestimate. To go from 30% to 15% body fat, you need to lose around 20% of your body weight. If you're losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, that's going to take you anywhere between 22 and 44 weeks. That's roughly 6 to 11 months. And I know that sounds like a long time, but if you follow the steps in this video, you'll be in a position to actually never have to diet again. Step three is nutrition. And I don't want to sound cliche, but nutrition is king when trying to drop body fat. So I've dropped a calculator, a very simple calculator you can use below. But if you want a very rough idea, let's say you're training 3 to 4 times a week, roughly for like 3 to 4 hours a week, you can multiply your body weight in pounds by 15. This will give you roughly your maintenance calories. Then if you want to get into a deficit, which is going to be required, I suggest personally a 25% calorie deficit. It's aggressive enough to see like really good results, keep you motivated, but it's not too aggressive to the point where you're going to feel like overly hungry, lethargic, and tired all the time. So then what you do is you've got your calculation, body weight in pounds times by 15, then you times that by 0.75, that will give you a calorie deficit of 25%, or you just use the calculator and times that result by 0.75. Now let's talk about macros. When it comes to protein, a gram per pound of your goal body weight. So in this example, that's 176, so 176 grams of protein. But remember, that's a range. You can get away with eating 150 to 170 or 140 to 180, and you should be fine. Fats, at least 20% of your total calories, and if you want to, you can go a bit higher. The rest will go towards carbs, so whatever you have left over. With this, I want you to create a very simple meal plan. A simple meal plan you can follow even at your busiest times. So for example, breakfast, high protein overnight oats, a salad and fruit for lunch, easy to transport, then some potatoes or rice with veggies and lean protein for dinner. I suggest avoiding snacking between, so 3 square meals. And I'll get into this more later on, but don't try and speed things up by slashing calories even further. You know what, I'll go into a 50% calorie deficit, then you're gonna be tired and you're not gonna be able to do what I'm gonna recommend next. Step 4, and the final step before I get into the 2 main problems. So step 4 is all about training. And when we're talking about training, we're not talking about just losing fat. We're talking about preserving muscle. Preserving and building muscle should be your ultimate goal. And you need a balanced routine that factors in your schedule, your time, what you can do right now and what you can continue to do. So if you have 3 days a week, I recommend 3 full body sessions. 4 days a week, you could do like a push-pull upper leg split or an upper lower split. And if you have 5 days a week, some sort of hybrid that prioritizes the muscles you want to develop the most. Your goal here is to train hard and track your progress. Focus on progressive overload. That means every week either increasing the weight or the number of reps you're doing within a range. I talked about this in a previous video. I might have to do another video on it, but essentially double progression is what you want to be focusing on. And yes, when you build muscle, you can add some scale weight. So don't start to panic when you see the scale kind of plateauing or you're not losing weight as fast as you thought you would. Building muscle will accelerate your progress and drastically improve your appearance. It will give you the shape you want when you hit 15% body fat. Now I want you to factor in a little bit of cardio, but forget HIIT, forget boot camps or any other forms of cardio for now, unless you really enjoy them. What I want you to do is to focus on walking for cardio. Track your current step count, figure out your weekly average, and then aim to improve that by 1,000. So every week you want to improve your weekly average by 1,000 until you get up to, let's say, 10,000 or even 8,000 steps a week on average. Then you can continue to increase that all the way up to around 15,000 if that's feasible for your routine. Walking is low intensity, it burns calories and doesn't interfere with your recovery process. I will recommend walking to anyone. That's what I do as my main form of cardio, and it is the most sustainable form of cardio. Now, for the top 2 reasons most people struggle to get to 15% body fat and what you can do to make sure you don't struggle. Reason number 1, you probably thought this yourself, is staying consistent. First, you have to try and cancel out the noise. If you're following a program and you're getting results, even if it's not as fast as the next person, you have to stick with it instead of program hopping and jumping around on different plans and trying to speed things up. And this rolls right into the next one. When you try and speed things up, the first thing you think of is cutting calories even more. You know, how little calories can I eat? You know, I'll suffer through this, I'll put myself through this. But then you run the risk of crashing your energy, losing muscle, and also massively increasing your hunger levels. This will make the program feel unsustainable and you will not be able to stick with this for 6 to 11 months. And then you won't be able to get to 15% body fat. Then you'll probably yo-yo diet. You'll start dieting again, binging, dieting again, binging, and you don't want to be doing that. The only time I'd recommend cutting your calories is if you've experienced 2 to 3 weeks without any results. So you haven't lost weight within 2 to 3 weeks and you're doing everything as well as you can. The next one goes without saying. Aim for around 7 to 8 hours a night. If you're getting 6, like some nights, it's not going to be a big deal, but lack of sleep can increase cravings and decrease your performance. If you're tired, your decision making will be poorer and it'll be harder to stay on track in general. If you've got a busy week at work coming up, you've got a holiday scheduled, maybe you'll take this week as a deload week and a week where you eat at maintenance, like take a diet break, for example. So you put your calories at maintenance calories and then you just, for ease sake, there's many ways to do deload, just half the amount of volume you're doing, maybe you half the amount of sessions you're doing, and that's the way you do it. Or you just do like a body weight and band workout at the gym, in the hotel, or just in your hotel room. Reason 2, the harsh realities and mindset shifts needed. So let's face it, it's hard. Losing weight is hard, getting to 15% is hard, just changing anything is hard. So you might be overestimating your ability to stick with your plan. There will be hiccups. There will be times where you want to quit. You will lack motivation. You will feel like it's a waste of time, it's pointless. I've been there, trust me, you will feel that way. You have to learn to accept that from the get-go, and when it does come around, just sit with it, understand it, embrace it, and figure out why it's happening. Use that opportunity to learn. Maybe it's a specific event, maybe it's a specific person that triggered that, whatever it is, find that opportunity to learn why it's happening and stop it in its process. Shift your mind away from just the scale weight. Focus as much as you can on the process. So building muscle, like getting stronger in the gym. Focus on those things. And I promise you, if you're focusing on that, you're focusing on the nutrition, making better decisions over time. You're focusing on the walking, the weight will take care of itself. Like, think about this, going from 30% body fat to seeing your clothes fit better around your arms, seeing more muscle definition, seeing your strength go up. How much more motivating is that than just seeing the scale go down and constantly watching the scale? As I said earlier, life will happen. There will be weddings, there will be events, there will be trips, there will be excessive workloads. Either way, these will crop up. And like I said earlier, use those times to just maintain your weight, just maintain your habits, and do the best you can to stick with the good habits, at least maintain them. So you can come back strong and don't overcompensate when you come back. That's another big thing that a lot of people do. So expect those things to happen and just plan for them. And remember, progress is not linear. Weight loss is not linear. You will see ups, you will see downs, and that's a normal part of the process. You need to see what's happening over time and how that's trending. From 30% to 15% body fat is going to be a game changer for how you feel, your health, and the way you look. Remember, it's going to take time. It's going to take anywhere between 6 to 11 months, depending on your life, depending on various different factors. But the main point is you need a plan, and you need to focus and commit to that plan and expect there to be hiccups, expect there to be obstacles along the way, and learn more about yourself throughout the process. But most importantly, stick to the plan. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend that might find it helpful. I have a new fat loss course where you're going to lose 3 pounds in the next 5 days. So if you need something to build momentum, just click the link in the bio. It's completely free, and you'll get emails every day telling you what to do. Have the best day ever, and we'll talk soon.